No rant, no overreaction. I'm going to say exactly what I saw and how I felt. If you're looking for some mad video with crazy, insane clips, then I'm sorry, you might as well just stop right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to your post-match reaction. Chelsea 1, Flamengo 3. There's probably three different things that I want to talk about in this video. One, I want to talk about Enzo Maresca and the game plan and what has happened and what not. Two, I want to talk about certain players. And three, I want to talk about Flamengo, because a lot of people, I don't think they know who Flamengo is. I'm not going to claim like I'm some sort of a Flamengo fan, but I at least have done a little bit of research and I watched Flamengo's first game against Tunisian club Esperance. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with Maresca. First of all, I want to preface what I'm about to say that, look, I'm not accepting the loss. The loss hurts. The loss definitely hurts. I expected us to win, but I also expect it to be a very, very tough game, because I know what I saw with Flamengo in that first game, and I know what a lot of people have been saying to me. I know very, I know close people, very close to me, people that watch Brazilian league on a daily basis. These are Brazilian people. One of my, son's friend's dad, my son's friend, he's Brazilian. His dad, he's been telling me Flamengo is one of the richest clubs in South America. This is not a joke. They've got a huge fan base. They play very good football. I believe they're first in their table. And as I said, I saw Flamengo play in the first game and they played very high level football. So Enzo Maresca, look, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't too upset about the lineup. The only thing I probably could say was, where's Andre Santos? And that in itself is a separate conversation. Andre Santos now in these first two matches is not featured. So that will come back. Besides the fact maybe Malo Gusto, I thought, why is Malo Gusto and Reece James? I would have preferred maybe Reece James on the right side and then a genuine midfielder in the middle. Reece James, when he does the inverted role, I don't mind, because he defends in wide areas. When Reece James is deployed as a midfielder, he has to defend in midfield areas, which isn't, second nature, which isn't like normal to him. Do you know what I mean? It's not natural to him, and I don't like that. That's probably the only thing. Besides that, everyone else very upset about the lineup, this, that, the other. Well, you didn't want Cole Palmer there? We'll have a conversation about Cole Palmer. Relax yourself before you start to talk about Cole Palmer. You didn't want Delap there. You didn't want Pedro Neto there. You didn't want Enzo Fernandez there. You didn't want Caicedo. So I don't see where else we could have done a tweak. The only tweak, as I said, Malo Gusto. But then again, Malo Gusto playing as a right back is where he generally plays. He didn't invert today. He played as a right back. And he's one of the biggest issues for me. And I'm going to get to that. Two players, Malo Gusto and Nicholas Jackson, for me, the biggest issue. And I'm going to get to that. So for me, Enzo Maresca, the game plan he deployed is the exact game plan I would have deployed, ladies and gentlemen. I would have deployed the same game plan. Do you know why? Because people that say, but we should be on the front foot, we should be taking the game, you can do that, no problems. There are many different ways to win games. You can do that. But against Flamengo, if you expect Flamengo to sit back and defend and be boxed in their half, then you don't know who Flamengo is. Flamengo, if we were to play in the front foot, what does that mean? High line, right? You want to play a high line. You want to play in the front foot. Yeah, high line. You want to press. You want to counter press. You want to box them. And you want to play with possession. You want to hold most of the possession. That's what front foot football means, right? Or what do you mean by front foot? Because a lot of people don't really understand tactical side of the game. They go, oh, but we got cooked by them. We got tactically outdone by them, right? So let's put this into play. Let's say, for instance, we do play with possession. We play in their half. You really think, just like The Rock would say, you really think Flamengo is just going to stay? Flamengo are just as good, if not better, on the ball. And this whole myth, a lot of people tend to think, oh, Chelsea are so excellent on the ball. We're good, but we're not supreme level. There's a lot of players that are not comfortable on the ball. Goalkeeper being one of them. Malo Gusto not always comfortable on the ball. Chalobah and Levi Colwell are good, but they're not superior on the ball. Our midfield is probably the only one that's very good on the ball. Pedro Neto is good, but he's not superior on the ball. Pedro Neto likes counter-attacking football, and this is how he scored that. Well, it wasn't really a counter-attack. It was a mistake. He pounced on it, and then he, put the afterburners on. Cole Palmer likes to keep the ball. Liam Dillap, he comes from Ipswich, who generally play on the counter. They don't see a lot of the ball. They play good football, don't get me wrong. Kieran McKinnon, he does play good football, but they don't, naturally just hold the ball. Other Premier League teams are superior to them. So when you come up against a team like Flamengo, who also want to attack and play front foot football, you have to put everything into context that, do you know what? Let them do what they want to do, and we'll try and pick them off. There are different types of winning football games. Because if we were to go on the front foot and they want to also press, we'd leave a lot of room in behind. And that would have been a far dangerous way of playing football against Flamengo, transitional football. You also have to understand, Flamengo are in the middle of their season, whereas we are at the end of our season. You do need to manage how you want to play. Playing a transitional football with the players we have right now, at the end of the season, you're asking for trouble. Playing this high-octane football, which is what Flamengo wants to do. So, tactically, I would have done exactly what Maresca did, and it was working. Half time, they had a lot of possession, but they didn't create anything substantial. Some people say, oh, but we had a goal line clearance. One goal line clearance. Well, we're not allowed to make goal line clearances now. That's defending. Besides that, we watched with our eyes, and the stats also say they didn't do that much damage, if any, with the ball. Yes, they did break through our midfield. Yes, they did go in behind, but it didn't materialize into a out-and-out big chance. Stats say that. Eye test says that as well. We took the lead in the first half, opportunistic lead, and we went to the first half 1-0. In the second half, and this is where the conversation about the players start, I do not blame one bit in this match on Enzo Maresca. I know post-match he said he tried something different, Cole Palmer on the right for the future, and that poses a bigger question for Madueke's future. Is that something that we want to do because Estevar Willian wants to play in the middle and Cole Palmer? That's a separate story once again. But all I'll say is, overall, the methodology against Flamengo was not the wrong one. In the second half, let's talk about this. As I said, I'm not blaming Maresca. Only maybe the Reece James factor. That's the only thing I'm going to blame. It wasn't needed to play in midfield. He can play right back invert if he needed to defend on the wide spaces. And even then, it wasn't needed. We have midfielders to play in midfield. That's the only thing. But that in itself shouldn't create a chaos. Second half, capitulation. Absolute capitulation, and I blame two players, predominantly two players. One, Malo Gusto. You look at both the goals, crosses coming into Malo Gusto's area, and Malo Gusto can't defend, and the ball goes over him, and the header goes back into the main area in the box, and then both the times, Flamengo players coming in and scoring. Malo Gusto playing as a right back. You can't defend now. You can't judge. Your judgment is incorrect. If you feel that you can't get to the ball, at least ensure you're not allowing them to hit the ball back. Like, back off a little bit and see if you can block that cross back in. Malo Gusto stinker. Now you can say, well, why is he starting Malo Gusto? We started Malo Gusto on the right back. Do we have that much problem with Malo Gusto that he can't even play in the right back position anymore? A lot of us were excited when we first got Malo Gusto a couple of seasons back, the first season and the Pochettino. What has happened to him? I know all of the inverted business is not good for him. And that, okay, Enzo Maresca needs to take, well, I wouldn't even say take the blame. Gusto doesn't fit that. That comes down to recruitment again. What do we do now? Huge question mark on Malo Gusto, because we don't deploy fullbacks like that. You may sit there and go, well, I don't want my manager to do that kind of shenanigans. I don't want all of these inverted. Well, then you're asking for a totally different manager, which is not going to happen because our owners and our directors like this manager. And I've said it from the get-go. I'm not a huge advocate of this manager at all. He's a rookie manager. He's a rookie manager. He's learning on the job. It wouldn't have been my preference, that's for sure. But it is what it is. He still ended up getting top 4. He still won the Conference League. And it's not like Club World Cup is over. I still believe we can go a long way. I still fully believe that. I fully believe that. And that's not because I'm backing the project, the Chelsea project. No, I still think the project's off. It's because I feel the players we have, we can do a job in this tournament. In the Premier League, in the Champions League, that's a separate story. So coming back to Malo Gusto, massive stinker and not good enough. Obviously, Reece James didn't have a good game as well. Stinker. Next one, the main second culprit, Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson came in for about 2 minutes, maybe max. And again, an awful tackle with his studs up, straight on the player, red card. And at that point, 2-1, at least we could have salvaged a draw when we had the entire team. But once you get yourself a red card, well, then it was already a difficult opposition. And now with a man down, it's almost an impossible situation. And with the way we wanted to play, which is defend, and try and find the opportunity, very difficult. And I've already explained why I would have gone with that strategy. I would not have gone with that front foot, let's try and play back and forth transition. No, because that would have burnt us out. Right? That would have burnt us out. So Nicholas Jackson, look, I've come to a consensus. I know I've said in recent times, and to all the people that went after me off the back of the LAFC game, what do you think about Nicholas Jackson now? Talk to me. I said Nicholas Jackson, even in that game, wasn't good enough. And a lot of people went after me for saying that. Nicholas Jackson has not been putting his best efforts. I know he's come up with an apology, but less of that. I don't want to see no apology. Newcastle, a bamboozling incident that led to a red card. Now again, a bamboozling incident that's led to his red card again. And it's killed us. So Nicholas Jackson, I've come to a consensus. Maybe it is time to let go. When the stocks are somewhat high, maybe it's time that we can perhaps let this guy go. I've got no issues if we go out in the market and find another striker to help out with Liam Delap, and we let go of someone like Nicholas Jackson, because that is unacceptable. That brain snap is unacceptable. Now, thirdly, Flamengo. Ladies and gentlemen, Flamengo, you see the stadium. It was all Flamengo crowd. So it was almost a home game for them. And once again, I'm not using this as an excuse. I'm building a context here. You need to understand. Flamengo are far better suited in that condition. Heat, humidity. Flamengo are a good team. Please don't sit there, act like Flamengo are some sort of a Conference League level team. No, they're a good team. So respect Flamengo to a certain level. I've come into this game knowing how difficult this opposition is. I still expected a win, but I knew how difficult this opposition was. A lot of people, I think, have come into this fixture not really paying no attention to Flamengo and just thought we're just going to roll over them. No. They're a good team. We got beat by a good team. It's not good that we got beat, but we didn't get beat by some nonsense team. So overall, ladies and gentlemen, for me, I don't think huge blame, if any blame. You can only say that Reece James factor in midfield on Maresca. Besides that, I'm not going to sit here and say, this guy has no idea whatsoever. I would have played the same way. Malo Gusto and Nicholas Jackson ruined it for us, especially Malo Gusto. Those 2 goals, criminal. And Flamengo, ladies and gentlemen, are a very good team. A lot of these Brazilian teams are very, very good team. So yeah, that's my assessment on this game. Look, there's still a long way to go. I'm still confident we can qualify. We'll see what happens on the other side, whether it's Bayern Munich, Boca Juniors, or Benfica, who we're going to face. We're not going to come first in this group, that's for sure. Flamengo are not going to lose to LAFC. That's a certainty. They're going to absolutely school LAFC. But I still haven't lost hope. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care. See ya.